Hello, welcome in everyone. Today I have a little story to show you. So if there's any comments, I might leave them to the end because I just want to get through this. Hope you can bear with me. I haven't used StreamYard for a while and there's lots of screens I need to show. It's a little bit I need to get my head around. So first of all, copyright disclaimer. I'll be showing some videos and pictures for educational purposes, things that are already out there. There's also a content warning for SA and M. I don't know what can and can't say on here, especially in the beginning. But thank you for being here and listening. So there are two things I'll be discussing today. One is in relation to this person on the screen. His name is, let me get the right name, Andrew Nolch or Andy Nolch. And he is self-described as an independent Scientologist and an ex-comedian, and that was from 2018. I'm not sure how he describes himself these days, but we'll get into that a little bit more. That's another picture of him. Now, the other part of what I want to discuss today is about a young woman who, her name was Eurydice Dixon. She was 22 years old from Melbourne, Australia. And she was brutally arred and murdered out in public. So I'll just show you a picture of her here. So let's see, where are we starting with today? I will present, just share my screen. So we'll just do a little bit of an intro on this Andy or Andrew Nog. So Mr. Nog describes himself as an independent Scientologist. So this is him here. He has probably, I don't think it's still active, but he had a YouTube channel called Indie Scientology. Here's some more pics of him. Nolch hosted an Indie Scientology podcast, which delved into the teachings of L. Ron Hubbard, the science fiction author, who founded the religion in the 1950s. Just do a little intro here.
Howdy, everybody. It's Andy Nolch here with another KR, and this one is all about the Fundamentals of Thought DVD. It is a DVD review. This is a DVD that the church produces, and they first released it in like 2012. And I give it, I reckon, about 4 stars, maybe 4.5 stars.
Okay, that was him there. What are your... just a little intro first, and then we have here Daily Mail Australia understands Nolch was known to Eurydice's friends. We'll get into her story in a minute. He was friends with Facebook with her boyfriend. Okay, so the next bit I need to show you is, this is Andy Nolch's YouTube page, the Indie Scientology podcast, but we'll talk about that a little bit more in a moment. Hi guys, I just make sure I'm checking your comments. Yes, all good. You can see in here. Okay, great. So I'm just telling you this story about this independent Scientologist who was in Australia. who is Australian. Now, the woman in this story, Eurydice Dixon, as I said, she was a 22-year-old woman from Melbourne in Australia. She was brutally AR'd and murdered in 2018. I'll just tell you a little bit about that story. She was an Australian comedian and actress, and on the morning of 13th of June 2018, Dixon was found dead in Melbourne's Princess Park. She had been walking home from a performance at Highlander Bar the night before she was attacked and murdered by 19-year-old Broadmeadows man James Todd, who handed himself into police after CCTV footage of him was released. Todd pleaded guilty for her rape. Sorry, I will just make sure I'll get the screen share back up. So this is Eurydice while I talk about her story. And I'll probably go back to the chats towards the end. Okay, so yeah, Todd pleaded guilty to her rape and murder. He was sentenced to life in prison. He will serve a minimum of 35 years in prison before being eligible to apply for parole. Todd appealed his sentence on the grounds that it was excessive considering his guilty plea and diagnosis of Asperger's syndrome, but the appeal was denied. So at the time, this was a massive public outcry that a woman can be, coming home from her job and she was walking through a park and be AR'd and murdered. So it was very much in the media. So I've got Dixon's death attracted mass media coverage and she became the subject of many tributes. A vigil was held at the soccer pitch at Princess Park where her body was found on, it was attended by about 10,000 people. That's massive, including the Victorian State Premier, then the Prime Minister at the time, and the opposition leader attended a vigil at Parliament House in Canberra. So that's her story so far. Unfortunately, it's extremely sad. I will share you this on the vigil. Sorry, I'm just going to get the screen share back up. So I want to share screen. Here we go. Okay, and I just want to show you this clip. This was in the federal parliament at the time.
The member for Melbourne has the call.
You, Mr. Speaker, my questions to the Prime Minister.
People in Melbourne are grieving at the death of Eurydice Dixon. Melbourne's full of strong, funny women like Eurydice, and this has hit us hard. Thousands of people will be gathering at Princes Park and around the country to remember Eurydice. Many people are in mourning, many are angry, and many are both. Prime Minister, do you agree that whatever we're collectively doing as a country now to change men's behaviour, we need to do more? And will you support increasing efforts to change men's behaviour so that everyone in this country feels safe?
The Prime Minister has the call.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker. I think
Is that Prime Minister at the time?
Our hearts go out to Eurydice's family. Our prayers, sympathy, our love are with them as they grieve her loss. Women must be safe everywhere, on the street, walking through a park, in their homes, at work. We need to ensure that we have a culture of respect for women. Not all disrespect of women ends up in violence against women, but that's where all violence against women begins. And so ensuring that we start from the very start, ensuring that our sons and grandsons respect the women in their lives is vitally important. We all, as parents and grandparents, have a duty to do that. And also we have a very profound duty to ensure that our public places, our streets, our parks are safe places in which to work and walk. And I know that we are all...
Okay, so I just wanted to show you those two things to show you how much, it hit the zeitgeist at the time, needless to say, you guys know. Now I want to show you what happened next. As I said, they were planning the vigil, and I will show you this. Now, we're back to Andrew Nolch, the ex/independent Scientologist in Melbourne.
Good evening. The Vandal, who spray-painted a lewd image at the shrine honouring murdered woman Eurydice Dixon, says he has no regrets. Andy Nolch told crime reporter Alexis Daish he planned the act as an attack on feminism, which he believed hijacked the tragedy.
Andy Nolch has no qualms about his crime.
I apologise to the family and any offence I've caused, but this needed to be done.
The 31-year-old is facing court over spray painting an image of male genitalia at the shrine for Eurydice Dixon, who was raped and murdered at Princes Park.
It was a revenge attack. It was not at all on Eurydice or anything. It was an attack on the media, on this huge issue that was being turned into a women's rights thing and blaming men. I just thought, all right, you're going to blame men? Well, I'm just going to draw a massive...
Andy used to be a comedian like Eurydice, but says he barely knew her. He concedes copping backlash for some of his stand-up material.
I had some strong anti-feminist beliefs and also some strong vaccine-causing autism beliefs, which I was trying to get out there.
G'day, The Kink.
Nolch hosted Channel 31's show, The Kink, and his YouTube channel is full of rants about Scientology and aliens.
Governments are working with aliens underground secretly. See a Ouija board and just you need to just live your life.
Oh no, churches or anything to do with church or religion is corrupt. Oh yes, that's no churches.
Relatives have told 9 News that a year ago, Andy believed he was a woman and dressed in female clothing. They also say Andy is autistic, as is James Todd, the man accused of killing Eurydice.
There was a little bit of planning, but it was spontaneous and I was upset.
Andy says his crime took more than 30 minutes to execute. He says while painting the grass, he spotted a police car patrolling and ran across the oval to hide. Once they'd gone, he returned to finish the job. Did you regret it?
I don't regret anything.
Really?
Yeah.
Alexis Daish,
Wow.
9 News.
Good evening. The man who shocked Melbourne with his disgraceful attack on the Eurydice Dixon Memorial is refusing to apologise. The failed comedian says he defaced the tribute because he believed the murder had been hijacked by feminists.
He could be Melbourne's most hated man.
Yes, I'm guilty. I did it.
Andy Nolsh painted a penis on the soccer field next to the memorial for Eurydice Dixon.
I wanted to cause as much outrage as possible.
Eurydice was raped and murdered while she walked home from a comedy gig.
I didn't personally know Eurydice, and I've absolutely nothing against her. It's just a coincidence, basically.
But he did want to cause maximum impact.
If I painted a picture of a flower on the soccer oval, it wouldn't have had the effect.
The accused murderer, James Todd, has autism. Nolsh believes vaccinations caused the condition and wanted to highlight his obsession. But that wasn't his only motivation.
It was an attack on feminism and how they hijacked the death of Eurydice and made it a women's rights issue.
His father is shocked his son is the culprit.
When I first saw it on the telly, I thought, oh God, who did that? It was sicko. Oh, it's astounding, isn't it? Yeah, we're a normal family.
But his brother says he's done nothing wrong.
The giant penis on the ground is quite funny.
3 weeks after Eurydice's death here in Carlton North, the shock and anger from the community is still very real. But Nolsh says he doesn't regret what he did and refuses to say sorry.
I only care about the poor victims of vaccine damage.
Not the damage caused to a victim's grieving family. Melina Saris, 7 News.
Okay, guys. So lots of information in there. Very interesting. Andy Nolsh was convicted for what he did there in the park. So they describe it.
His father is...
let's see if I can find... Yeah, so he was convicted. He ended up spending 5 months in jail for that. So as I said, it occurred in 2018. I think when he went to jail was roughly around 2020, something like that. So, he's admitted to having far right ideas, conspiracy theories, anti-women. I will show you a few more things. Quite dangerous in my eyes. But anyway, I will show you a little bit more. So let's share this tab. So so just lots of conspiracy theory type things, which I'm not going to get into because I'm not interested, but just to give you some background information on who he is, and this is still current, and just things like, just gone past it, but just very trying to, buying into the narrative that women are somehow dangerous and evil, quite a dangerous narrative. And here he is with an Australian politician, Craig Kelly, from the United Party Australia, in 2022. It looks like some sort of march gathering thing. And I do want to show you. Just go back to his YouTube page. I want to show you this. So yeah, as I showed you before, he used to have this the Indie Scientology podcast. I don't think he's active on there at the moment. I can see the last video was a year ago, but before that was like 3 years ago. So he might not be into Scientology anymore, but there was a lot here, as you can see. And I just want to show you a minute or two of this beginning of this clip. So this one was only done 4 months. Okay, no longer Scientologist now. Okay. Hi guys, I think that last video wasn't sharing correctly, so I'll start again and share screen. No audio, yeah, I'm fixing it. All right, I'll try again. So that was... Let me know if you can...
I'm going to play it now. It's Jonathan Burke,
See it now.
Indie Scientology podcast number 19, part 1. And I'm just going to pause it when I have something to say, but you can follow along and listen to it. And if you are a Scientologist, and also to Jonathan Burke, I kind of don't recommend you to even listen to this because, firstly, I'm not having a go at you or anything, but secondly, I kind of don't want Scientologists to even know the truth about Scientology, because I think if they fully knew, they would leave Scientology and then no one would be doing it. But it's such an interesting rabbit hole to have gone down, and it was such an interesting religion to have had.
Okay, so he's saying don't find out the truth about Scientology because he doesn't want people to stop doing it, although he stopped doing it. Okay. And he said it was such an interesting religion to go down. Really? Okay.
That I would like other people to have that experience. And I think it's kind of bullshit, but you get wins from it, and it's...
So Scientology is bullshit, in his words, but you also get wins from it. Which one is it?
It opens up your mind, and it definitely increases your ability to read and stuff. But I...
Increases your ability to read. We have school for that.
I don't want Scientology to disappear.
Wow.
And so, yeah, so if you are a Scientologist and you're listening to this, whether you're inside or outside the church, I kind of would prefer you not to listen to this. But if you want the truth, see, I'm always for the truth. I always go, and the truth can send you down nasty areas, and it can be a rough journey, but I'm always for the truth. And that's the path I've decided to take in life.
You're always for the truth, except letting people know the truth of Scientology.
So I have to go where the truth leads me, and it sends you down on adventures. But some people aren't quite like that. They're happy with sticking with one religion and not finding out the truth, and they don't like to hear things that are nasty because it upsets them. And I don't blame them for that. If they're cool with the way you are, then just keep on doing what you're doing. But anyway, let's get into this. Let's hear some talk about...
All right, guys. So it sounds like what he's saying was, I used to be a Scientologist and an independent Scientologist, and then 4 months ago he does this video saying, I'm no longer a Scientologist. Here's the truth of what I think about it now, but I don't want you to know because then you might stop doing Scientology. And this is a convicted criminal that went to jail for defacing the memorial to a rape and murder victim in Melbourne. Okay, only a little bit more to show you. Let's have a listen to this interesting little piece. Okay. No, don't know why it won't let me scroll up anyway. This is only a second, I believe.
Because his religion fell apart on him, right? His religion had betrayed him. All the ideals that he had. It is a common human reaction.
And you adopt a stable datum.
Yeah, and it's being shaken really bad.
Yes.
So that Aussie accent voice, that is Andrew Notch.
So you adopt a new one. It's just, this is the way it is, and it's going to sort out my whole life, and so it does.
Yeah, and see, skepticism is all about going around knocking out your own stable data all the time. And because that brings in new ways of seeing things and new ideas that you couldn't consider before while you were continuing clinging to this one stable data. And that's why I like it now. But who knows what I'm going to like next year, you know?
It's time now for one of Andy's random questions, all right? You ready for it?
All right.
Do you think it's okay to do Scientology and yoga? Does that violate KSW?
It violates KSW, but it is okay to do it. I think the two can enhance each other.
Yeah. See, because my interpretation of it is that you obviously in an auditing room, you're not going to be messing around with yoga, it's schooling. But in your private life, practicing yoga is totally fine, just like going to a homeopath or eating chicken or playing billiard pool.
Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing this. So I just want to say this video is not about any people in this community, but this person has, this Andrew guy on his independent podcast has done some videos with some people, some ex-Scientologists, but I don't know the context of them. They're hours long and I'm not watching them. So I'm not going to pass any judgment on those sort of things. I just wanted to show the information that's already out there about him being a convicted criminal and what happened with Eurydice Dixon, which was a big deal. There was a lot of outrage. Now, in this video, he's asking an ex-Scientologist, do you think it's okay to do yoga because it is, you know, other practices, which is not allowed in Scientology? And then he goes on to justify him by saying, well, I'm not doing the yoga at the same time that I'm doing the Scientology. Well, obviously not. So it's okay. That was his justification. And I just showed you that because there was another little clip, which I'll show you here. Not a clip, but another article, which I will show you now. Okay. All right. Let's have a look at this story. Is there a reason you aren't naming them? Naming his name, the ex/independent Scientologist is Andrew or Andy Notch from Melbourne, Australia. That's who I'm talking about. And the lady who was murdered in Melbourne in 2018 is Eurydice Dixon. So I'm just repeating that because someone asked in the chat. And he went, Andrew defaced her memorial with the basically anti-woman symbol and went to jail for 5 months for it. Okay, so back to this story. So now this is in 2020. So it says Eurydice Park Vandal had drug for better yoga experience, court told. And there we go there, 2020. The vandal who defaced a public memorial for Eurydice Dixon has admitted in court to possessing hallucinogenic drugs to help him get a greater kick out of yoga. So I just thought it was quite interesting because we have two pieces of information about him discussing the yoga, and one in relation to Scientology and one in relation to getting a better kick out of it by taking some drugs. Okay, so Andrew Notch is currently in prison, so this was in 2020, for painting a 25-meter penis on grass at Prince's Park in Carlton North, close to the spot where Ms. Dixon was murdered in June 2018. Well-wishers left flowers and candles at the site in the days after the young comedian's death. So this was him outside court in 2018. Notch appeared before Melbourne Magistrates Court Monday to admit to possessing 8 grams of the drug Harmine at his Lower Templestowe home. His lawyer, Kara Brahman, said the drug was solely used for Nolte's personal use, as he had researched the hallucinogen and wanted to know if it would allow him a better experience at yoga. Nolte didn't have a drug problem, she said, but had in the past sporadically experimented with them. All right, so now lots of people do drugs. Then these particular ones obviously are not legal in Australia. Each one to their own. My point of talking about these things which are already out in public domain is I feel like this person could be quite dangerous. He's admitted to being, far right, anti-women, into conspiracy theories, and he has a mental health condition. And then if you throw in things like hallucinogenics in the mix, I just feel like it could possibly exacerbate something and bring about something dangerous when you have people with these dangerous ideas already, and then you're throwing in hallucinogens. So that is about it. I just wanted to show you this story. I was quite shocked because I knew the story of Eurydice Dixon, who was murdered and raped in Melbourne in 2018, because everyone in the country knew about it. It was quite disgusting and horrific. I do remember the story about her memorial being desecrated at the time. I have just found out who did it. And it was this person who I've discussed already, was into independent Scientology, now says he's not Scientologist anymore, but still has quite dangerous ideas. And I found out that he was the person who did it, and he went to jail for it. So there's a little bit of Scientology in there as well. Thank you guys for listening. If you want to say anything in the comments or ask any questions. Hi, Cajun Juju. Hi, Antiques of Mama Squirrel. Thank you for being here. And hi, Twilla. I think I answered some of your questions along the way anyway. All right, guys, that is about it. Thank you for being here. See you soon.